real quick since I just started the recording. Here are the answers to last night's assignment. The question here, or the riddle here was, wire you insulate? And reminder that we will have a quiz over graphing lines. There'll be 5 lines you got to graph. Slope-intercept form, getting them in slope-intercept form, even graphing things like this that a lot of you weren't quite sure what to do, so you didn't do it. I shouldn't say a lot, just a couple. A lot of you guys are doing a good job, but I've got to keep working on those that aren't. Quick 5 graph quiz. Now let's take a look at 12. One half x plus y equals 2. Okay? There's a couple different ways we could skin this cat. We could do x and y intercepts. Whenever it's equal, you're talking about this one right here, right? Okay. Whenever it is in this form, where it's something x plus something y equals 2, the fastest way to do it is always going to be to find your x and y intercepts. So if I plug in 0 for x, that'll give me my y-intercept, which is 2. If I plug in 0 for y, 1/2 of what gives me 2? 4. And then we can graph that. Okay? So do you have to do it that way? No, you don't. You could also get y by itself by subtracting 1/2 x from both sides. And then what we would do there is we would go ahead and start at my y-intercept of 2. And from there, I'd go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. And keep in mind that you should be able to realize that positive slopes are going to go uphill, negative slopes are going to go downhill as well. Does that answer your question? Good. Keep asking those questions. Even if you think it's a silly question or whatever, somebody else probably has it. Anything from the whole packet. 14 from the back of that packet. Yeah, so from the back of that packet. Okay, you bet. Okay. Let me get a fresh piece of paper and you bet. 14, yeah, because this is something that I'm going to ask you to be able to graph tomorrow. Anything from this? So 7x minus 1 equals 3y plus 8. So let's go y by itself. So let's get rid of this 8. Okay. Don't worry about dividing by 3 until you've got that y term by itself. So now I'm going to divide that by 3. I'm going to divide this by 3. I'm going to divide that by 3. I'm dividing everything by 3. Everything by 3. So I got 7/3 x minus 3. So now what that allows me to do is if I try and sneak this over so I can see them both here. There we go. Start at -3. And I'm going to go up 7 over 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 3. And there we go. And I would expect that to go uphill because it's positive. And I expect it to be fairly steep because it's over 2. Did that answer your question? Good. That stuff we have. See, here's the deal. The reason why I pulled this out of the book and I just worked on this, because we're not even halfway through what they want us to do in this section of the book, and we've got to be able to graph lines like that to be successful. Okay? Question?
How would you do either 13 or 14
Upholstery? Okay, so 13 or 14? Okay, great question. Great question. So in this one, the thing that throws most people is the axis goes by 2's. So in this particular situation, let's do 13, the temperature is -6 degrees. So that's why I started down here at -6. And it says it's rising at the rate of 2 degrees in an hour. So from -6, I went up 4 in that hour. I'm going up another 2 in the next hour. Not 2 blocks, 2 degrees. Okay, so that's where I end up with that one. This one here, I'm starting at 12, and I'm dropping 3 degrees. So 3 would be down to 9 in an hour. 3 would be down to 6 in an hour. 3 would be down to 3 in an hour. Let me just plot that out. Good question. Going once. Yes.
15, 16, 17.
Okay, you bet. We'll take a look at it real quick. I'll do 17 and 18 real fast. Okay. Probably I'm going to do 18 first because since it's just x equals 3, it's not so tempting to try and use slope-intercept. I'll ask you a quick question. On 18, could we get y by itself? No, there's no y. So I can't get y by itself. So now I've got to punt. I can't use that method. I've got to use something else. So I just call this the common sense method if we just think about what it's saying. It says I don't care what y is, but I want x to be 3. So I have the point 3, 0. I have the point 3, 1. I have the point 3, 2. So think about all these different points where my x is 3. They're going to form that vertical line. The shortcut is, if there's only one variable, it'll tell you which axis it's going to hit and where it's going to hit it. It's going to hit the x-axis at 3. Now the other one for y equals -1, you could go y equals 0x minus 1. But I'd like you to have the common sense method of, where are my y's -1? 0, -1, 1, -1, 2, -1, 3, -1, 4, -1. It's going to look like that. Hits the y-axis at -1. Yes, you do have to be able to graph those as well. Okay. And the thing is, the habit that I want you guys to get into, that you should get into, is ask questions daily. Whenever you have them, ask them. Don't wait right before I say we're going to have a quiz or something like that. Ask questions. Stay up with it. Because one thing that does for me is it lets me know when you're struggling with some things, and then I can reteach some things if you have a bunch of questions. Remember, I get here at 7:15 in the morning. I'm available till 8, of course. And then 6th period is my plan. 8th period, you can come in any time. I'm not in the lunchroom. I am here. And then after school as well. Okay. Let's move on. New information, 1.5. Inequalities. So one thing that's nice is we should have the background information to graph these lines really well. But the only thing is now we're going to make a small change and we have to be able to deal with it. So first one, let's just say if I go y equals 3/2 x minus 4. No, we're going to go greater than or equal to. The difference here is the greater than. You've done this before. So you're going to have to reach back deep in your brains, and I think you'll go, yes, I remember this. We're going to graph it just like normal. So I'm going to start at -4. From there, I'm going to go up 3 over 2. Then I'm going to draw a line. Does anybody remember what I have to do next since it's greater than?
Shade everything above it.
I got a shade. Why above it? Because it's greater than. If the y is by itself, you can, if it says greater than, shade above. If it's less than, shade below. But if the y is not by itself, you can't do that. So it's going to go like this. One thing I also want you guys to consider doing is do a test point. The easiest test point on the planet is 0, 0. So look at what I'm doing. I plug in 0 for y. You don't have to do it this way, but sometimes this will save you a little bit of grief here and there. Trust me, you'll see it later. 0 is greater than or equal to -4. Is that true or false? It's true. Okay? So since this point here works, that entire side works. This is the dividing line between what works and what doesn't work. So if we pick a test point and it works, you shade that side. If it doesn't work, you shade the other side. Okay? Let's do another one. And we're kind of reviewing for this little mini quiz tomorrow too. 3x minus 2y is less than 12. Do we have to get y by itself? No. You do not have to get y by itself. Use your skills that we've developed. Your intercepts. Anybody, what's my x-intercept? X-intercept is? Ugh, no. 4. You should be able to do this. If I plug in 0 for y, my x-intercept, we're going to pretend it's equal to 12. Okay? Because we're finding the dividing line. Okay? So maybe that's why it took a little bit. We're going to go equals 12. And it's going to be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's my y-intercept? 6. What? -6. Now, I'm not going to draw a line. And the reason is because it's not equal to. What kind of line do I need to draw? Yeah, I need to draw something that shows it's a fence between the points that work and the points that don't work, but we can't include the fence itself. So what this means right here, these points don't work, but they separate the points that do work and the points that don't work. Okay? So this is where the test point comes in really handy. I want each one of you to test the point 0, 0 and shade accordingly. Go. Since we don't have y by itself, we can't just say, ooh, less than, I shade down. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. I don't know. We're going to do a little work to figure it out. So plug in 0, 0. Okay, should I shade up or down? Only one person has an opinion? Up. Okay, this is where you're going to have to communicate with me what's going on. What's the problem with a test point? Plug in 0 for x. Plug in 0 for y. And I see if it's true. Not trying to be mean or anything, but that shouldn't give us difficulty. We should be able to plug in 0 and 0 and simplify that. 0 is less than 12. Is that true or false? True. So we're going to shade that side. Okay? I demonstrated over here what to do. Come on, folks. You can do this. Okay, let's do another one. Oh, wait a minute. I want to show you another way you could do this. If you absolutely don't want to do it using your intercepts, here's what we could do. Oh, I made a mistake. I could work to get y by itself, but it's going to be fraught with mistakes, especially when you divide by a negative, we got to flip your inequality. Another thing that you recall from your algebra stuff. So then, y is greater. Yes, I do shade up. Okay? But here's one thing you guys have got to consider, is that if you're thinking about something like the ACT, your tools need to be selected wisely so you can get it correct, and you can get it correct quickly. Okay? If I do it with intercepts, it's done. If you have to get y by itself, it's going to take you a lot longer, and there's going to be chances you can make mistakes. Okay? So, have that tool at your disposal, finding the intercepts. Okay, do this one, please. Y is less than negative 2. Go. Do that one on your own. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. There we go. Say, oh yeah, if you got that right. Well, let's take a look at it. Y equals negative 2. I've got the point 0, negative 2, 1, negative 2, 2, negative 2, 3, negative 2, 4, negative 2. So there's my line. Hits the y-axis at negative 2. It's a dotted line. And it's less than, so I'm shading down. Okay, that's something we should be able to do. Here we go. Let's do one more, and then we're going to call her quitsies for the day. Well, on graphing this, and then I've got to do just a couple problems. Okay, let's go like this. Y plus 1. This will be another check to see how you're doing. This one. Do that one. Y plus 1 is greater than or equal to 2x. This is also a check for tomorrow's little quick quiz. Checking my settings and stuff on my YouTube while you're doing that. Okay, here we go. Get y by itself. Y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 1. This should go quick if you get your skills down from that packet. -1, up 2, over 1. Solid or dotted? And this one, you can use a test point, but since y is by itself, we're going to shade up. If I did a test point, it would simply be this. 0, 0's on the top side. 0 is greater than or equal to 2 times 0 minus 1. 0 is greater than or equal to -1. That's true. Here we go. I just want to take a look at a couple word problems here real fast. I know you guys have got limited time, so I'm going to kind of skip right to one of the ones that's will make us think just a little bit more. This is actually not too bad a problem. A delivery crew is going to load a truck with tables and chairs. The truck's weight limits are represented by the inequality 200t plus 60c is less than 1200. Okay. Question, how much does a table weigh? 200, because it's 200 pounds for every table. How much does a chair weigh? 60 pounds for every chair. What's the weight limit of the truck? 1,200. Okay. So what I would do in this situation, if I'm going to graph it, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my intercepts, which it doesn't matter which order you do this. My t-intercept is 6. So 6 tables, no chairs. My c-intercept is 20. That would mean 0 tables, 20 chairs. And the reason I like to do that first is now I know what my scale is going to be on my drawing. Okay? So 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And maybe I'll go by 10s here, 20. But I'm going to label some things. This is my chairs. That's 10. This is my tables. That's 6. This is a dotted line. Because it's less than 1,200. Personally, I think it should be equal to 1,200, but they chose to do less than. And which, just common sense, which side should I shade? Top side or bottom side? I should do bottom because it's not unlimited. I need to stay down on my number of chairs and tables, so it's going to be right here. I stopped it there because I can't have helium tables and helium chairs giving me negative weights. Okay, but it's going to look something like that. Okay, so I'm going to give you at least 10 minutes, so I'm going to stop right there. Yeah. Gotta go. You gotta participate, be part of the whole thing, stay up with things, ask questions when you got them, come in for help when you need it. 38, 19, 21, 22, and 26. One of the questions that somebody had, which axis should I put on the bottom? I always put time on the bottom. Always put time on the bottom. It just makes so much more sense, and your graph is going to be much more understandable to you. And then we've got 6 graphs. I think that'll be fun. But do your homework. Get her whipped. Need any help? Let me know. Oh, I should stop this before I do too much here.